Okay, guys. It is the moment you've definitely been waiting for.
The moment of truth.
The most important thing that you could possibly get from our channel.
The most serious thing imaginable.
The absolute ultimate question you've all been waiting for us to answer. Who is the waifu of the month?
My God.
And we don't do a waifu for every month. It's just February.
No, it's just February.
So the waifu of February.
Though that is the only waifu that we accept is the one that's in February as well.
Yes. For reasons unknown.
Somebody gets the coveted title.
There's no reason for that. There's no, noteworthy day of February that we'd need waifus for. But now we're going to find out.
No, it's for the 2nd of February, Groundhog's Day.
Oh, yeah. So that's why we're starting with the Groundhog Paradise. The story of a bunch of groundhogs in a cafe or something. Whatever the fuck Nekopara was about.
Grohopara. I don't know.
Groundhog para.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think of how you'd shorten groundhog.
I don't know how you'd say groundhog in Japanese.
Meerkat paradise.
Yes, that. So, we're going to go through all of the waifus from this month.
We're going to try and keep it brief.
Yeah, we're just going to kind of evaluate them and come to a decision of which one is the waifu of the month.
Yeah.
We're starting with Nekopara, mostly because I drew them first.
Yeah.
It was hard to remember these names. I mean, they have a wiki, so I looked it up. But, these characters were so nothing. Do you remember feeling like any of them had anything distinct to say? I
got that they were archetypes. That's mostly what I saw, and I accept. It was also the 0th volume, which is typically something where it's gonna try and do like a fan disc thing. So what they were doing was, it was like, here's the cute characters but if you really want to get to know them, play the actual game because this is not anything.
Yeah, so it gave us very little to work with, except for the line about when I'm drinking milk, I like to imagine my boobs are getting bigger as I drink the milk.
I forgot that was even a line.
Yeah, the fact that Cinnamon was just, like, a pervert from space was kind of distinct.
I also think it's really, really interesting to point out that I don't know if we even said it during the actual LP, but the main premise is apparently that the main character that you are in the actual games is just a guy who can't stop baking pies.
God, but I don't have a picture of him. I don't know what he looks like. But I didn't check.
At the same time, this terrific pie making man has 7 characters living in the house that want to bone him.
Yeah, one of them's his sister. She's banned from being waifu of the month because she's creepy.
Their names are all things that would have to do with pastry baking.
I don't know if Shigure is.
Sugar.
Do you think so?
I think it might be.
But yeah, all the others
in which case
are
it's chocolate and vanilla and maple, cinnamon, coconut. And
Azuki is red bean.
Yeah, Azuki is red bean. Mm-hmm. That's the only one that I was caught up on because I couldn't figure out what it was immediately.
It was red bean. You can get in mochi sometimes.
But yeah, I think Shigure is also supposed to be sugar. I could be wrong.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't know how you'd romanize sugar in Japanese.
Yeah. But none of these characters really fully stood out to me. There was one personality trait per character, and I was just kind of creeped out that they were basically slaves. They were treated like pets. They were treated like these are literal cats that just happen to be able to talk and look like people.
It was a little strange that there was no actual setting or world building.
It was just
put in place.
There was a cord dangling from the ceiling light, so they all had to hit it. It's they're just literally cats. So it's I can't waifu these. It's a little weird.
It was a little strange, the choices.
I can't waifu a character who's this it's a pet.
Yeah.
They can all be pet of the month. That's fine.
So I guess we'll go through them and point out. So I keep calling her Chocolate on purpose, but her name is Chocola.
Yeah, it's basically chocolate.
Yeah.
She's the ditzy one, I guess.
I think so.
Vanilla's the closest we've gotten to a normal character in this setting.
I think she was supposed to be there's a specific archetype that is where it's suppressed emotion.
Yeah, it was there was the perky one and the gloomy one, and they're twins.
She's not really even gloomy. She's just not not immediately going to react positively to something.
Yeah, if she was just straight up like
it's not even like Tsundere, it's some other thing.
If she was just some kind of albino goth who was gloomy all the time, I'd be cool with that. Like, but she was kind of a little too subdued.
That was the intent. I'm almost positive.
Yeah.
Azuki, the oldest of the bunch.
She's completely extra and needs to calm down.
She's also... I mean, we should point out that Chocolate and Vanilla, I think... I had to look this up for reasons. I think Chocolate and Vanilla are not specific cat breeds, as far as I could tell.
But the others are.
Like, the idea is that Chocolate and Vanilla, I assume, might be Siamese, but I don't even think that's
because
entirely
they're
true.
twins?
I thought maybe, but then I realized, they're not conjoined.
Okay, so one of the things
really
that bothers me about the designs in this one was that the ears are the same color as the hair, completely, so it's like they just sort of are hair. If they were supposed to be Siamese cats, you would have gotten like a different, like a tip color.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, because they have points.
Really, at the end of the day, they're just a black cat and a white cat then.
Yeah.
Azuki, though, is the first of the breeded cats here, as far as we can say. And that's, what is she? Yeah, she's a munchkin.
So basically, she's just a hot dog cat.
Yeah, so the fact that she's the oldest doesn't matter because she just permanently looks exactly the same. And probably has hip problems and will die long before any of the other cats.
I just take it to mean that like, munchkin cats have small legs, munchkin cat girls have no boobs, I think was the idea.
Well, yeah, she was just like a permanent, not quite a child. I don't think that's exactly how they portrayed it.
She's small.
Yeah, she's just overall a very small character.
Yeah.
Too extra. I agree.
Yeah.
Like, way the fuck over the top. That's her archetype, but it's like, nyeh.
It's just needed to be dialed back. Or if there was a context for it, sure. If she was mad about a thing that, like, had a reason. But
I mean, maybe she's overcompensating, but I mean, Volume 0 didn't really give us much.
Like, I like characters who are assholes a lot, most of the time. Sometimes. But, like, she had no reason for it for me to get behind.
Maple...
She was just kind of there.
She's an American fold. She's the American one.
American curl.
Yeah, American curl. My bad.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, yeah. American curl, which is why her ears curl and
it's a real thing. Way. It's cute. But, like, I like her design the best, mostly because I like her colors.
Yeah, her colors are fine.
Just the creamy browns are cool together, and she's got kind of, like, plaid going on. I was like, yeah, that looks cute, but she doesn't...
going overhead.
Is that what the fuck?
Yeah, that's a helicopter.
Okay. Anyways... The helicopter's waifu.
Yeah, no.
But
please don't.
She didn't do much. Like, the idea I got was that she was supposed to be, like, the snooty girl, but she didn't do anything. She just sort of was the victim of bullying.
Yeah, like, that's really all it was. But she didn't even
react to it.
I mean, she reacted when apparently her iPod was taken off the table or whatever. Because,
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was like she made a comment about, well, what if the master has a girlfriend? And then her master, who is apparently... Shigure is the owner of all of these cats.
Yeah,
can we, like, address that real quick?
She owns slaves and wants to fuck her brother and walks around in a kimono all day?
Yeah, like, as far as I can tell, the brother's not actually the owner of these cats. It's Shigure.
Well, it's the family, I think.
Or something like that. But they keep referring to Shigure as their master, specifically.
No, they were calling the brother master
well, that's true,
but,
too,
like, the brother didn't show up to give us any context for how he treats them.
But when she suggested that their master might have a girlfriend, Shigure literally told her, well, I'm not buying you that iPad now.
Yeah, it's like, it's petty, she was creepy. But anyways, Maple was just kind of there.
Yeah. Cinnamon is a Scottish fold.
And she's thirsty all the time.
All the time.
And I don't think she even knows what she wants. She just stares off into space.
She is the weirdest Digimon.
She's the closest we get to a character with, like, a real personality. It's just
her personality is just weird.
Her personality is she's basically just, like, the weirdo on the internet who finds everything kind of hot.
It's weird because if I'm to be totally honest, they're adorable, but I think out of all of the cats here, like the Scottish fold, if you were to properly anthropomorphize a Scottish fold, it would probably be like the dumpiest looking cat.
She kind of was.
Like, I guess.
The goofy little puffball of a cat.
Also, we censored the hell out of the bath scene, but she was, for some strange reason, like, given front and center near the end.
Yeah.
They just decided they needed to have her, like,
she had the biggest boobs.
like, uncensored butt just sitting there on the screen.
Speaking of Coconut, she's made of tits and she's hungry.
She is a whatchamacallit?
A Maine Coon.
Yeah, she's a Maine Coon.
Because she's large.
Yes, big cat.
And that's all she's got going for her, really. She's just kind of there. She was hungry, but not the way
she's
Cinnamon
a giant
is.
cat, though. No, she was hungry. Cinnamon's thirsty.
Yeah, no. She's
sure.
She's just big.
And then Shigure.
Creepy. She's banned.
Yeah, you just keep coming back to it.
She creeps me out. I'm banning her.
She's a little sister.
She can come back when she's not creepy.
So out of all of these, who was your selection for Nekopara Waifu of the Month?
I think it's going to end up being Cinnamon because she's so weird. The weirdo wins by being distinct. That's how you get attention.
I'm gonna say my favorite was probably Coconut because she did that cool ass shit where she tossed plates and caught them in the air.
I forgot that happened. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so you want to move on to the next game?
Let's never look at Nekopara again.
They made like 4 of those, right?
Good on them.
Okay, before we move on, I looked it up, and the person who makes Nekopara, like the person who's in charge of everything involving it, is a lady.
That's weird. I mean, go ahead, but didn't expect it.
She is Japanese.
Right.
And I found her Twitter, which is entirely in Japanese as far as I could tell. And I couldn't find any translators to run through it. And I usually don't translate Japanese Twitters to begin with because translation programs are terrible.
Yeah.
She, I think, from what I could gather, actually owns a Scottish fold.
Did she just decide to project all of the weirdest jokes onto that one because she owns one?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Such,
I'm just
like squish-faced cats. Like
they're
it's
cute.
So weird.
All cats are cute.
I'm not saying like they're ugly cats or nothing. I'm not going to say they're ugly. They're cute. They are. But they're so squish-faced.
Yeah, it's unexpected that a lady was behind this. Good for you. You made like 4 of these. Okay, let's keep going.
I guess. I mean, that's my interpretation anyway. Next game is
the one with the vampire.
Karakara.
So Karakara had a plot.
Yes, it did.
It was weird.
Yes, it was.
But the characters weren't inherently weird other than having 4 ears and one being a vampire.
Despite, almost all of them had 4 ears. And then you have the horrible mutant with only 2.
Yeah.
Just the grotesque, I don't know, he lives in the sewer with the Morlocks. Like, you got the guy with the horse head. The puppy has only
2 ears, too.
The bald baby, and then the man with 2 ears.
Okay. They call him Ears, and he uses them to fly. Anyways, the setting was completely bonkers, but the characters at least felt like they were a little bit grounded in how regular people talk most of the time.
Yeah. I would say that as far as world building goes, I think the building in the world for Karakara was probably the most distinct. I don't know if... honestly, I feel like they could have spent longer kind of working on it.
Well, there's a second game, right?
Yeah.
So maybe things start to make more sense.
What I mean is, like we played through... It was 3 chapters. It was a prologue and then chapter 1, chapter 2. And all 3 of them had stuff about the world building in it. And it was like, you know what, some of this stuff is fine. Some of this stuff is okay. But it came in like chunks. And then it was like surrounded by really weird stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, as far as the writing goes, it was probably one of the better written ones.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was maybe the best, but it was it was acceptably
I'm not
written.
sure if anything here had best writing. They're all just uniquely weird in their own weird ways.
I don't know. I kind of like the concept of it's basically like the most boring version of the Mad Max apocalypse.
Somehow the most boring Mad Max and also the most boring cat girl cafe.
Yeah, like
well, no. I mean, their cafe was all business.
Yeah.
There was no running around.
It's kind of a realistic cafe.
Yeah, there's no running around swatting the cord dangling off of the ceiling light.
No, in fact, only one of them was a cat anyway. I mean, I assume we don't know what the hell Cullen is. Cullen could be like a
cat.
Coyote for all we know.
That would be cool, actually, if they had just... Because coyotes live in the desert.
Yeah.
So like that would
kinda
imply that maybe
not
she's
always.
adapted
They can
to
live
it.
in the forest. That is
Sure,
the thing.
but it's just I don't know. Like it would be cool to know if they also have like other animals.
I used to
Just
live up
expand
in
the setting.
up in the woods when I was a kid, and we had coyotes all over the goddamn place.
Were any of them your waifu of the month?
No, but I had to stare them down at least once.
Cool.
So going with the characters left to right again. Lucia.
Heavily relate to the fact that she's a cafe worker who's a little exasperated with her employees and has to train someone who is kind of bizarre. This has happened to me many times that I've been in charge of training someone and then I'm not sure where they're going with things.
Turn out to be way better than you.
No, they
and
didn't
also a
turn out to
vampire?
be geniuses or vampires.
Vampires.
I don't think that's happened yet. But there's a lot of things about her where she was practical. She wasn't creepy when she talked to the main character. She just seemed like a person for the most part.
She did have the weird, like the way that they were written with the main character was almost would they won't they, but not quite.
Yeah,
there.
it was just kind of like they had like a silent agreement to not fuck until it became a threesome.
And yet the first time we see her is literally the main character sitting down doing like paperwork, and then she comes in her pajamas and is like, I want to sleep in your lap. And he's like, okay.
Yeah, there were moments that were odd, but it feels less like Lucia being odd and more like the writing being odd.
I feel like the writing at the very beginning of the game and the writing at the maybe mid to late game was probably written with like months between them.
Yeah, they revised a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, like
in
somebody
the
had a
meantime.
really, really good idea right at the beginning and they were like, this is what the game is going to be about. And then they kind of started writing it and went, I'm getting bored, so I'm just going to do different
put in a
stuff.
vampire?
Like, yeah, just change it up. But they didn't want to change.
Yeah, I don't know, but
much
they
of what
went
was
back
going
and
on.
made some hints for the vampire stuff. So
Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah,
there was some okay stuff.
There were some interesting methods to the way they unfurled information, but that sometimes it felt like well, we know that there was a patch to put in like the porn bits, like so it could be that there was dialogue.
I don't even know if it was porn explicitly. It was mature
know.
Was what they
yeah,
argued.
but like
there
could have been like things leading up to or after Lucia like sitting in the guy's lap that made more sense out of it. I don't know.
We don't know.
Isia, I honestly found kind of annoying.
I
mean,
they needed a second girl, I
guess.
guess.
They didn't need to pile all of the special traits onto her. And they didn't need to make her quite as flighty, I want to say.
Well, she's a vampire. She's got to be flighty.
Sure, but like it just seemed like
how would a bat move around? I mean, come on.
It seemed like she just needed to calm down.
Yeah.
But at least she was happy.
I did see it pointed out in at least one case. Like, I don't remember if somebody left a comment or somebody told me explicitly, but when you look at everyone in the actual home, like in the cafe, you've got the main character, Lucia and Isia. Lucia is the normal character. She is the one who doesn't have anything unusual about them at all.
Yeah, for the setting, she is.
So Isia has a lot of stuff piled on her, but then the main character has also got some stuff piled on him. Kind of. And to us, the main character would be the most normal of them.
Yeah, it's an interesting take.
Within the universe, Lucia is the most normal character. She's living with two extremely bizarre weirdos.
Yeah, she's living with mutants and keeping them in line.
Yeah. I don't even know how to explain that. I don't
know. Like, Lucia is a character who actually earns some respect. I just look at her as like, what happened? What caused you to be made?
I don't actually mind Isia all that much.
It's like I felt like it should have been dialed back. Like her presence, the amount of story that was about her, it was just a little too much.
Well, the prologue and chapter 1 needed to have Lucia front and center. And especially the prologue where she was, at the very beginning, the only female character outside of like Cullen, who shows up.
Cullen should have been the main character,
I
think.
But then you get Isia, and Isia had to have the very end be hers.
Yeah, but it kind of consumed everything.
There's a lot of stuff going on. Because it's the end of the story. Yeah. It's bound to consume a lot. If you let something be the end of a story and it's a long-running story, it's going to consume the rest of the story in retro
I would have liked it to not be that much about her and people telling her that she can stay. Like maybe if there was a conflict between her and Lucia that made them have to hash it out together instead of just Lucia just sort of calming her. I don't know.
So then we move on and we go Puppy.
Puppy's great. Banned from being waifu of the month.
Yeah. Every game has at least one banned waifu.
I don't know if that's true. We'll decide. We'll decide later.
We'll figure it out.
Cullen, though, honestly, I think that I would have much rather have read a story or played a game about the
police
big titty coyote
animal
cop
lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know if she's a cat or a dog. She could be anything.
She's a cop and she's a researcher.
Maybe she's
and
a horse.
She's the closest that we have to a community leader for the setting.
Yeah.
She's the one who goes around and settles disputes. She addresses danger. She hunts ghosts.
Yeah.
So why was the story about a cafe?
Their color schemes are all really different too. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Like,
we got the Sonic Tails Knuckles thing going on.
Yeah. I mean, not only just for like the colors of the hairs, but it's like Lucia is blue, Isia was pink and a little bit of red, and Cullen, despite having blonde hair, also has green eyes, and all of the clothing that she wears is very gray, but that's because it's all uniforms, like 100%.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, it was interesting.
Uniform.
It's
kind of an odd one.
It's a future cop uniform. They all look like that.
I hope so.
Wait until the next game when we see the big Bara chief of police and he looks exactly like that as well.
I hope so. A big, buff dog man in tiny shorts with his boobs out.
Yeah. Like really low cut, you know. It's
full beard.
It's got a market.
He's got cat ears in his beard as well.
He's got 8 ears. That's how you know he's the chief.
Yeah. Anyways, I would have
sees the main character, he's like, 2. Get out of my office.
I would have much rather had a game just about being the cop in this setting than about being a waiter in this setting.
Yeah.
So Cullen's like my runner-up. Lucia, though, was very relatable.
Let's see. Out of Lucia, Isia, and Cullen, I would say...
It's hard to say?
Yeah.
Because they're all good or they're all bad?
I'm going to say they're all about equal.
Okay.
I'm not going to say if that's good or bad. I'm going to say Isia.
Okay.
Just because.
You like the vamps?
I like the concept of the character. I think I like Lucia more as a character within the setting, but Isia as a character as a standalone, I think I like better than Lucia. Which is weird. I like them both. They're both really good.
Which one would you be more likely to marry?
Neither.
Okay, neither is the waifu. Cullen
Neither
wins.
of them.
No, you can just say the dog and we'll move on.
No, it's fine. Whatever.
Isia then?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Isia for now.
Okay.
For now.
Okay.
This
barely counts.
Yeah.
We didn't finish this game. We might never finish this game. There was technically a third female who was just the lady getting off of the elevator. We don't know.
I don't feel like we got far enough into the game to really get a feel for anything.
Yeah. I felt like I shouldn't ignore them.
It was pointed out. I don't remember if you pointed it out in the video or after the video, but Rin, which is the name that we are given for the character living in the permanent rain world, was supposedly the actual name of the dead priestess sister.
Yeah, so it could totally be these are the same character. I'm not even sure.
But then I think I even put forth the concept that, well, maybe it's the younger sister, but she's using the dead sister's name.
Yeah,
which is very confusing. And then you have the character who was not even drawn here, whose name was just Lady. And it's
I didn't bother.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know if that comes back at all.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't really get deep enough into this game to even really get a feel for the characters very much.
Yeah, I don't know. I drew them just to acknowledge them so we could talk about them, but I can't pick. There's just nothing to pick.
No, I don't think I'm going to pick either of them either, to be totally honest.
Yeah. I really
can't decide because as far as I'm concerned, these might be non-characters.
Yeah, they might be the same person.
But they're worth a notice. They're worth a mention, a point out for this.
The only thing that I hope happens in Ame no Marginal that would possibly make
Rin gets another shoe?
Yes! Fucking, her poor little toes are so pruned. Just get her a shoe.
She's half barefoot Rin.
Wouldn't that be the most touching thing if the guy manages to leave the world, comes back with a shoe for her because it bothers him so much? It would be like, aw, you really care.
Yeah, he's just going to give her one of his shoes before he leaves.
That's cute too.
She's just, it looks like a clown shoe on one foot for the rest of eternity.
Okay, our waifu is Rin's missing shoe.
Okay, next game. Game.
Not really a
Athena.
game. These are our one-offs.
Yeah, it was Athena, and it's Sylveon. Good.
I just kind of didn't feel like redrawing.
So Sylveon is barred.
Sylveon's banned from being the waifu because it's a species, not a character.
These
so
were
some
the
of them are
one-offs,
dudes.
though. These were the one-offs. A dude can be a waifu.
Sure.
So Athena was the 1986 NES arcade port of the SNK game Athena, who's a princess in her underwear who becomes the goddess of victory and is remembered for all of time as the goddess of intelligence instead.
Yeah.
That's the literal argument within the game, is that, well, she's the goddess of victory. And it's like, you could tell that someone who really didn't know almost anything about Greek mythology made that game.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
I should
point
point
out. The fact that it
out,
has a plot is generous. It's like it's an old enough game. Why do they even have plots at that point?
I should point out, by the way, the final boss of that game, and I think I kind of made mention of this just a little bit when we were playing it, but I'm going to be a little more open about it now. It's a Cerberus.
Okay.
Which it calls it a Cerberus. His name is Dante.
Cool.
He is a Cerberus, big old air quotes on that, because the Cerberus is like a large dog body with a mouth in its chest, 3 incredibly long dragon necks, and the heads are flying Medusa heads.
Sure.
That's Dante the Cerberus.
Well, anyways, that guy's not waifu.
No.
But the game wasn't that great, or at least what we played wasn't, because it was a port of a game and it's very old.
What do you feel about the design of Athena?
I like that she's old anime.
Yeah, she is. She's super old anime.
I like that she's proportioned in a way that feels kind of real.
Yeah.
Like yeah, she's got boobs and stuff, but like she just kind of looks like she's not super thin. She's not a baby. She's not exaggerated. It's not giant. The titties aren't like unrealistically huge. Like she just looks like she could be other than her giant anime eyes. She could be a real girl.
I'm not going to bring up art of it, but I am going to make mention of the fact that when she shows up in SNK fighting games, they had a completely different artist look over the 80s anime style, and they were like, hey, make this into a fighting game character. And he kind of modernized it and did like a very painterly thing with it, and it looks nice. But then for the mobile game that came out in like 2010, I don't know when it actually came out, there was a mobile game, though, that came out that was called, like, Athena Full Throttle. And it was a completely different, like, Moe Blob
Was she
art
drinking
style.
Mountain Dew the whole time?
No, but they gave her, like, a pink-haired assistant who was also a witch or something. And then the game did so well, despite being a mobile game, that they gave that a sequel. And it's like Athena Wood Witch Academy or some garbage like that.
Maybe we'll pursue those at some point for the sake of...
we can even play mobile games.
Sake of our waifu history, maybe we will look into them.
I prefer 86 Athena.
I'm
just saying,
prefer just
80s Athena, great.
A retro waifu candidate.
Yeah, she was amazing. And then we got I from Carpe Diem. Okay,
so I'm pretty sure the game was written in English. I cannot prove it. I did not check.
I'm almost positive as well.
I found that there is a DeviantArt with the name that was at the end of the thing.
right?
Yeah, something like that. So I'm just thinking, okay, this person's probably either a native English speaker or at least not a native Japanese speaker.
I'm going to guess that they probably were a native English speaker. Somebody even pointed out to me that like in comments, thank you to Stephanie, because I think she was the one who pointed this out. I would be a Japanese name. Jung is not a Japanese name.
Nope.
You could make the argument that it could potentially have been a Korean name.
Yeah.
But it's probably more likely that the character is named for Carl Jung, the like father of weird pseudo-psychology, including but not limited to the theory of universal unconsciousness.
Do you think that has anything to do with the game?
I'm gonna guess that at least a handful of his theories and plots and whatever had things to do with something that touches this game. Okay. I'm not really super familiar with Carl Jung. I just kind of don't like him in general because a lot of the stuff he pushes is like really, really pseudoscience-y. Okay. That's all I ever remember about him, is that he was into like the mysticism of psychology.
Did he like spiders?
It kind of colored psychology for a while. I don't know.
I like spiders. And I completely like relate to this girl who likes spiders in video games.
I thought she was going to turn out to be a spider.
That would have been cool.
I'm wondering if there's like a net pun to be made or like a web pun.
Yeah,
but
I was wondering it.
I don't know
She's
why
got like a spider
pun.
web for her necklace.
Yeah, that too. I noticed that right off the bat.
Yeah. I genuinely liked the character.
She was an interesting character. She was written pretty okay.
She was written like a real girl.
I felt like it was kind of like, I know it was intentional, but the idea that she and the main character basically are aware of what's going to happen and then just have to deal with it as time goes on, because they both know it's coming, but they can't stop it at all. And it's portrayed as though it's been like years since they've seen each other or something, despite being dating.
I got
and like
the vibe that was more like weeks or months.
Yeah, maybe, but it was just some weird thing. And it's like, I didn't hate the concept. I thought it was okay. Like, I like the character. The character had a very realistic personality. Yeah.
Like, that was basically kind of just like a setup for a next chapter
that
costs money.
The second game costs money, so we might not get
it. Maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But just generally, I just found her very agreeable and relatable.
I think I figured out the name of the other one, by the way, is Carpe Diem Reboot.
Okay, so it's basically like he starts the program up again and then something happens.
Yes, that's what it's going to being. Do we want to talk about Sylveon?
It's a dog.
We did a whole video where we talked about Sylveon.
It's a dog. It should not be waifu.
Well, no, it's not just a dog. It's a dog with tentacles. It's a tentacle dog.
That could be someone else's waifu, but I think on an official capacity, I don't think that our Hundera Industries worldwide media company needs to have that as our waifu.
Yeah. So out of the 3 one-offs, who do you think was your waifu? Well, two, because we're cutting Sylveon out. I say Athena.
Okay, that's fair. It's hard to pick. Athena doesn't have dialogue, so it's really hard to say.
Yeah,
but she seems like I'd like her.
Yeah, I mean, I just like the old anime retro shit that's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, at the time, it wasn't retro, obviously.
Yeah,
but you know what
like,
I mean.
The style really makes it.
Yeah.
It's worth pointing out, though, that, like, in game, she doesn't look like this. She looks like a bunch of pixels.
A bunch of squares.
Yeah,
because like, it's a 1986 NES game.
Original box art Athena.
Original box art Athena.
That's a good waifu.
I don't like American box art Athena.
I considered drawing that one, and I was like, man, there's already too many things to draw. Yeah. I could have just put in clip art, but I didn't want to do that.
No, I getcha. So then the next game... is
Battle Fantasia.
Battle Fantasia. Sorry.
Only 3 girls in it. That makes this easy.
I don't even think Odile should count.
Odile's like a
doll or something.
We don't know yet.
She doesn't really even have a personality. Her entire thing was just, I'm literally following every order you give me.
That we know of. We have not played her story or Koyori.
I guess that's true.
So we can't say for sure, which is why this one really isn't fair either. Yeah. I want to say Koyori just because cat girls are better than regular girls, but we know enough about Olivia that I do like her.
Yeah, I really like Olivia too.
She's capable, she's nice, she's clever, she kind of has a magical girl thing going on that I think is cool.
Sorta.
Very light and mixed with other influences, and it's a good aesthetic.
Yeah.
It is hard as butts, though, to get proper color schemes for these characters because all of the promo art is in that sketchy sepia tone.
Yeah, and it's almost watercolor.
Yeah, and
so the colors are going to vary greatly.
And so it's different from the models in game, and this game isn't super popular, so like I couldn't necessarily get good screenshots to just sort of reference color from.
Unfortunately.
So I think she's normally got blue eyes. I don't know.
Just gonna take a guess.
Yeah. Anyways,
she's the most human Roselia I have ever seen.
Yeah, she's also the most human girl in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
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 Genuinely, I feel like we may change our mind. Maybe it'll turn out that Odile is like totally deep and secretly got like this whole inner life and this big thing going on. Maybe Koyori is actually like the best, but we don't know yet. Olivia's pretty good.
Yeah, Olivia is pretty good. Olivia was nice. Koyori, we don't know enough about, but she's a cat girl. I mean, obviously, just we know that she's a cat that has taken human form, supposedly of her own volition,
or a human that took cat form because that's what Olivia thinks,
but doesn't realize it, according to Olivia. But according to Koyori, she's a cat who's taken human form to help an old woman who
runs a
helped
restaurant?
her. Or something like that.
I assume, because she's got like a waitress thing going on.
Yeah. She runs like a restaurant.
So she's just working as a waitress to help an old lady.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, that's noble. If that's the case. I mean, we don't really know.
We don't know the full context.
Yeah, and then Odile's...
We have no idea.
We know nothing at all.
I will say that her master Doku Rod...
Yeah, Master Doku Rod. Doku Rod's pretty cool.
Did she call him father?
She called him father, and I think he called her nothing. Like,
that fucking Skeletor on a stick is basically the closest this month had to a dream daddy.
It's I got weird flashes of like Mystery Men, because it's just a skull dad.
Oh, like, the bowler.
Yeah,
the bowler's a good waifu. She was the best
from
character
now on.
in that
I think Odile should just be the bowler, but she's put the bowling ball on the end of a rod for some reason.
I really like that movie, by the way.
I know
Every time I mention Mystery Men was a good movie, Josh says no, it wasn't, and he just walks away.
Yeah. So out of these ones you picked, what was it?
It's just gotta be Olivia for now.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'll go with Olivia also.
Yeah.
So
you can kind of tell
we go into Vanguard Princess.
You can kind of tell that I ran out of room.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So there's actually, can you click it back and forth at this point in the video?
Well, I can make. We'll just do the first page and then we'll do the second page and then we'll talk about it.
The only character we know anything even remotely meaningful about is Lilith.
Yeah.
And she's cool as hell.
I guess we can go off of designs and what we generally saw of the characters.
I still really like that. Also, like, these are the names. I'm not going to remember them.
Yeah, me neither.
But I still like that Kurumi is wearing a giant Gaia Online badge on her chest for some weird reason. For no reason.
Her hair looks like, and it's not even the way that you drew it. It's just in general, her hair kind of looks like crap. Like, it doesn't look bad.
She's just incredibly
very anime, but like I don't understand how some of it functions.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know.
Well, this game does a lot of that thing where, like, you've got long bangs, but they come out of the top of your head.
Yeah.
And you've got sub-bangs
I think that's what it is that like it's bangs and sub-bangs. Lilith was a cool character. It's the only one we know anything about. Some kind of horrible demon child with a teddy bear who's also a grappler, which is amazing, and she is a really good grappler, actually.
Yeah.
Yui had a sword with the Big Dipper on it.
It kind of looked like an ocarina to me.
Haruka
was the witch,
a witch with a rod.
Yeah,
she had some weird magical girl thing going on and was super annoying to fight Lilith with.
Yeah.
It was super annoying to fight her as Lilith because she had so much ranged garbage that the grappler couldn't get in, and it was fucking terrible. Luna has guns.
She's the mech pilot, right?
Yeah. She's also some kind of mech pilot, but she has 2 guns, and most of her her basic moves, like her basic little like her fireball. I think it's literally a quarter circle she has. Is pulling a bigger gun out that just covers half the screen and shot, and it's like, oh, okay. And she's probably one of the only fighting game characters I've seen with guns who actually functions as though they are real guns as well.
Okay, that's a good distinction.
It's weird.
Yeah.
But then they give her a bullet meter, and as soon as it's gone, you don't have anything else anymore. I think she has some moves that will reload, but you have to go through them and know them to do so.
That's an interesting way to do it.
Yeah. Karumi, we were talking about, she's got a guy online badge.
I love that Lilith hates her for no discernible reason.
I actually really like her design, but her skirt is so incredibly short, it makes me uncomfortable to play as her.
Yeah, it's just like, you don't want to say you like her design.
I don't want YouTube to like destroy the video because it's like 90% panty shots if we're playing as Karumi.
Yeah, at least she wasn't literally jumping up onto the screen to press her ass against it like Lilith.
Oh, no. She does that when she does her super, she does
Does
that.
she?
Yeah, all of them do it. I said that during the video.
No, they all flash panties, but they don't all have to do a weird half twist in the air to do it.
A lot of them do. For throwing out their supers, a lot of them do.
Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
It's one thing when her skirt is short. It's another thing when she has to do a flip in the air just to get her ass on the screen for you. Like, that's ridiculous.
Saki, I don't remember who this one is. Oh, wait, she's the one with the katana.
Is she?
Yeah, and I think she throws out cherry blossoms, and then she turns them into projectiles. So every attack she has causes cherry blossoms to fire out. So like she'll swing her sword, and every swing gives you 2 cherry blossoms on screen. And I think you have a max of like 8. And then you can do one of her quarter circles or one of her Z's. I don't remember which one. But you do one of them, and it fires all of them off as little beam projectiles.
Huh, okay.
And it's like, it's interesting. Kade, I think, might be a vampire. I don't know.
I hope so.
She's got a lot of claw-based stuff, and her super is the only one that I could tell when I was just running through practicing with the game that has 2 full-screen pictures show up, and one of them is fully animated. Well, I guess technically both of them would be, because they're both the weird panty shots where the characters twist and do things. But then the second one is after she gets it off, the whole screen just shows a shot of her face with her lips, and she's touching them, and then she says something in Japanese, and then it blasts back to the actual fight. Natalia is a robot girl with like pile drivers on her fucking arms.
Yeah, I mean, she's like the only one here with a name that's, well, Luna's not Japanese, Lilith's not, but she's clearly, her name just kind of stands out a little.
She had a peach bomb. I remember that.
Like, I think she's supposed to be Russian. Is
like
her distinct thing. I'd like to point out that Kaede, was she the only character in all of Waifu Month that wore glasses? You know what? Nora wore some as a disguise, but no one wore them for real.
Maybe.
So this is our only glasses girl.
I guess, yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Unless there were ones that we have completely forgotten and already talked about. In fact, I don't know.
I don't think so.
But yeah, no. Honestly, if we were going off of design alone, as weird as it sounds, I actually did like Natalia's design.
Yeah, like she had sort of a pseudo military thing going on that was better than the 20 different kinds of school uniform.
It was kind of just, and I'll admit it was boots and a leotard, but then the top half was armor, and then she had big-ass weapons clipped to her arms, and I like that aesthetic.
Yeah, you like sexy Metal Gear.
No, not quite, but, you know, whatever. And then the second page is coming in, it's Ayane.
I don't know. She looks like the Evangelion girl with an eye missing. Yeah,
well, the Evangelion girl is missing an eye.
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I refuse to understand Evangelion.
Yeah, no,
I have so many people in my life who love it,
but she does now.
I have so many people in my life who just won't stop talking about Evangelion that I've made it my mission to just never learn what they're talking about.
Wait, so I can't remember which one was Ayane. Do you remember?
I don't remember anything she did.
Okay.
Eri was the lifeguard.
Yeah, Eri was the lifeguard in a tennis outfit for some strange reason with the tonfas.
Yeah.
Hilda was possibly the final boss?
Yeah, I don't know why they had... I'm sure there's plot reasons that she's like a backup and a boss.
Yeah,
I don't know enough to say.
I kind of didn't care for her assist design.
Yeah, it was really weird.
It was designed kind of funny.
Like she was so.
I get what they were going for, but I feel like they didn't get it. Like they didn't quite succeed.
Just made it look like she was made of putty. Honestly,
a little bit, because there wasn't enough detail going on, and I understand it's sprites, so it's like
maybe they wanted to not have it have like her boobs showing in that form.
She didn't have boobs.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. That maybe they didn't want to put too much detail there, or maybe detail was taken out when it was localized. I don't know.
I don't know.
But either way, she looked real weird.
Kane was the artist.
Kanai,
sorry.
Yeah, artist. I liked her. I think all of the support characters are banned from being waifus.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because they all look to be like these tiny creatures that I don't even understand what they are.
They're like sub Vanguard princesses. They're like what's below a princess?
Vanguard duchesses.
Yeah, okay. They're Vanguard duchesses.
But I can't tell what they're really supposed to be. They're not playable. They look like they're 5 years old.
Sierra may or may not have been an actual Metal Gear. I don't know.
Or just straight up a Neptunia.
She did look an awful lot like a Neptunia, yeah.
And in the background of some of the stages, there were a bunch more of them with different hair colors.
Yep. And Eiko was the next one, and she
seemed kind of
generic, and she was the one that we always wound up being stuck with.
Yeah, like it seemed like we couldn't pick in story mode, and she showed up at the end as like doing some sort of weird computer shit.
Enjoy
I don't know.
And we're like,
I don't understand her.
And Juliet, who
absolutely,
yeah, she's actually great. She absolutely fucked us up in story mode. She was the reason why we had to take multiple shots at what's her face?
Whichever one.
Yeah. And at the end of the storyline, she's Lilith's friend.
Yeah, and that is like, I trust Lilith to be a good judge of character. If Juliet's hanging out with her, she must be a pretty cool girl.
Because Juliet was assisting the one that Lilith was trying to fight, Karumi.
Yeah.
That was her assist.
I don't know if that means anything is the thing.
I don't know either.
Yeah, we don't know enough about it to really say, but I drew them all anyways.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Who do you think your waifu was for that?
Still Lilith.
Yeah, me too.
Honestly, just I gotta go with the Child of Satan.
I gotta go with Lilith too. She wasn't a bad character. She was fine.
You like wrestlers?
I do like grappling characters. Yeah. We should also point out before we move on that because we just did the 2 snarks, we did start doing that thing at the end, a character snark, or you did rather, where you started drawing and then we were throwing it up at the very end, and it's like, I don't think we've gotten any comments on whether or not people like that.
Yeah,
so if you guys want to leave comments now, go for it. Yeah. Like, and if you didn't notice, hey, go back and watch both of those character snarks. They have art videos at the end.
Yeah, we didn't say anything about it. It was just kind of tacked onto the end with some music.
It's like all of maybe 4 or 5 minutes worth of just Megan drawing. Like, if you guys like it.
It's just a thing that I'll do, except maybe I might stop if it's just too much work or something.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Next game in the series was
Neptune. I saved the most extensive for last.
This was the last one, right? Yeah.
I put White Heart and Green Heart down in the corner because we don't know their personalities yet.
I think that we should ban both of them because we don't know anything about them.
Yeah, I mean, they're not banned. They're just... Pishi's banned,
Pishi banned? What about Pishi's CPU?
I think that I just wouldn't pick her because the boob physics looked really weird on her 3D model.
I thought that they were okay, but I can understand why you didn't like them.
Yeah, it just bugged me. They were shaded weird. They moved weird. Just do boobs like boobs. All we know about Vert Greenheart is that she's a gaming blogger.
Yeah, apparently. Well, it's her secret blog, though.
Yeah, which they can access for some reason.
She's a horrible, horrible otaku who wants people to be able to see her personal blog, but doesn't want everyone to be able to see it. So you have to accidentally stumble onto it to know that she's looking forward to, like...
MMOs.
Yeah, I guess.
MMOs about herself, as far as we could tell.
As far as we can tell.
Yeah, Blanc we know nothing about.
Blanc we know absolutely nothing about.
I mean, she's the Wii
Nintendo
girl.
That's it.
Which you'd think would make her the best girl, but also what I know of the series is that they didn't want to risk getting... This is my assumption, though, that they didn't want to risk getting sued by Nintendo, so none of the characters who show up are really Nintendo beyond being the basis of references.
Later on in the series, and I knew this even before we started this, eventually you do start getting characters that are like, companies just went, here, make a Neptune of us. And then sometimes it would be as detailed as make one of a game, like just straight up, because there's literally a Metal Gear Solid girl.
Yeah, there's a sexy Metal Gear.
And it's like for Nintendo, nothing.
There's no
get
sexy
Blanc
Mario. There's no sexy Link. I think I assume they just don't want to get sued.
I mean, there were a handful of characters who were obvious references that were like the little NPCs that popped up, but that was it as far as I know.
Yeah, they're small enough to not be worth like noticing for a lawsuit.
And also, Neptune has, to my knowledge, literally never, any of their games have literally never been on a Nintendo console.
Not that I know.
They've been on Xbox, they've been on PlayStation, and they've been on PC.
Which means either Sega's still salty, or Nintendo doesn't want to touch it.
I think it's that Nintendo just doesn't want to touch it, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, we have not looked in depth into this. We're speculating. We're just wildly making shit up.
Yes, we are.
So let's go over the characters who aren't banned from Waifu Awards.
Neptune is kind of over the top. She's an amnesiac. She's your main character.
She's a little too random and a little too quirky. It's a little
very
overbearing.
ditzy until she turns into her CPU and then is very, very strict about things and is aware of herself. And
she's still a little bit
else.
Of a weirdo.
A little bit of a weirdo, but not as much. Not nearly as much.
And I did not draw the CPUs because I did these in a day.
Yeah.
This was kind of a lot. My arm still hurts.
That's fine.
Yeah.
She has a stunning fashion sense in that she wears a hoodie at all times and nothing else of real note. It's a hoodie and pants, and it's like, yeah, great, cool. That's about it. She's purple.
I found her annoying.
You did?
If I were 12 years old, I would have found her relatable.
I think she had the most range of emotion out of any character.
Is that because of my fabulous voicing skills?
No. I mean, literally, I think that as far as pictures that would pop up and change, she literally had the most emotion changes. Yeah, that's probably all that it was. Compa.
I still think Compa might be trying to make up some kind of weird femme / fantasies about the other character she hangs out with. I don't
know. Compa's a nurse.
Yeah.
She's apparently mostly good at it, though it looks like she's terrible.
Yeah. She's the blobbiest Moai blob here somehow.
She wears a sweater.
I like her sweater. I like her fashion sense.
She's not a bad character. She's an interesting character. I think she's actually, despite the fact that I give her a voice like this, I think she's supposed to be like a quiet, hushed kind of character. And we even mentioned that like in the English translation of it, like in the English
she's kind of whispery and almost baby-like.
She's given a gooey voice. Yeah. And people agreed and know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't even do a gooey voice. Not without practice. But you know what we mean when we say a gooey voice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, Neptune is Sega and Compa is Compact Heart, which is...
Compile Heart.
Compile Heart, sorry. Compact Heart. Yeah, and I don't know. She makes pudding.
Yeah, I guess.
If
is like the most competent personality here. And it's doubly good that you make her sound like Solid Snake.
Yeah. I don't do a good Snake voice, but it gets the job done, I think.
Yeah. She just seems very important to be a balance for Neptune.
Yeah. I like her fashion sense more than almost any of the other characters, to be honest.
Just the cool anime trench coat?
Yeah. She just wears a cool anime trench coat, and that's about it. That's all you really need to be a cool guy.
We generally are very positive about If.
Yeah. I think that's generally the case. I kind of don't like her weapons so much, and I don't think that we've actually used her in fighting since we first got her.
We have a bunch of DLC characters.
Because the DLC characters are better, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she's fine. Ify's okay. Yeah, she's also supposed to be Idea Factory, which is the other company that makes Neptune. Then you have Noir, who's PlayStation.
Yeah, I like her. Because she presented something different, because we went through so much of just, here's 3 girls bouncing along in the middle of a plot that doesn't seem to really want to progress itself. And then she comes in and she's scheming. She's a little adversarial. She comes around and becomes a friend, but like she actually has some complex things going on in terms of like the way she wants to deal with the other characters.
She almost, I mean, it takes a full chapter, so I shouldn't say almost immediately, but she almost immediately just spills the beans on what Neptune is. So we don't have
to do that whole amnesiac thing forever.
She completely removes whatever like amount of like intrigue there is in it.
Not
because
that there
really wasn't any to begin with.
Yeah, there really wasn't a point. Technically, Neptune still has amnesia. She's been informed of what she is. She just doesn't remember it.
Also, I kept getting eyebrow wiggles on like the 3rd or 4th episode, I think, where people were just like, oh ho ho, because I made a comment that was like, I hope it's not a situation in which they give us an overleveled character and then take them away immediately. And it's like, yeah, they take her away. Okay. By that point, it didn't matter because everybody else was roughly equal with her anyway.
Yeah. Does Plutia count?
Plutia's a DLC character.
She's alternate Neptune, right?
Yeah, she's just kind of wispy, maybe more soft-spoken Neptune.
Since I like her design better. Like, the more complex shapes to the hair just feel more pleasing. Her outfit is more interesting. Like, she's more fun to draw.
Yeah.
And because she doesn't have dialogue, I don't get annoyed with her. I don't know if she would be annoying like Neptune. I don't know if every second word out of her mouth is like a reference to something.
I think she and Pishi both, by the way, show up and actually are like characters, like secondary characters in one of the later Neptune games.
They're just from a different game that came out before the remake, but later in the timeline of the
so we'd have to wait until we get to a certain game before they show up as actual characters. So it's like, oh, well, we don't know anything about these two.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Like honestly, I'd count Plutia as just Neptune Jr. Yeah. And Pishi's not. Pishi doesn't need to know what a waifu is. She can just go. She should just be playing outside with friends in her own age range, and
then she turns into the CPU and flies into the sun. Like. Okay, what about Xian?
When I was looking up the reference for her, I also found out that in the original game, before the remake, she was literally just a silhouette with no actual design.
Silhouette. There's no H on that S.
Anyways, she had no design until the remake. Okay. She's a non-character, basically.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't represent a company or anything.
She feels important to me.
Yeah, she feels like she's important. She's important enough that they gave her, like, a picture. But then she's nothing, apparently.
Yeah, like, that's just really weird. And if anything, it makes me like her more because I feel like she was wrong-footed there. like it just feels like she either should have been a full character the way the others are, where she was based off of something or whatever, or she could have been an interesting look at, like, oh, well, some characters aren't bizarre self-inserts. This is what their lives are like. But it's like she's just stuck in a box in the corner of the text box.
A little bit. She's just a faceplate compared to like the full body shots of every other character.
I feel like I want more of her.
So here's the real question. In Neptunia, who's your wife?
I think I'm still tied between If and Noir.
So as far as goddesses go, you like Noir, and then If as far as like just non-goddess characters go.
But that my contrarian pick is Xian. If someone from the Neptunia fandom legitimately asks me which one is the best character, I'm going to say Xian because they're not going to expect it.
But if you're not being a shit and you're being serious, you're going to say If, but you also like Noir.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Okay. I like Neptune. I don't know. I know you find her annoying, but like as far as the character goes, I think that she's entertaining.
Well, I have a theory that the characters I have been finding annoying, which is mostly Neptune, Isia, the ones who are kind of bouncing all over the place, that part of it is that, like, I can be like that, and that it feels like they might be doing it in a way that's further than should be done.
Maybe.
And you tolerate me all goddamn day.
Yeah, I do.
So maybe you just have a type, and that type is insufferable.
I don't know. Maybe. Okay, so going all the way to the beginning, we got Nekopara, and Nekopara. No, Nekopara, Karakara, Amina Marginal, the three one-offs, this, Battle Fantasia, and everything else. who do you think your waifu of the month is?
It's really hard to say. In part because there's characters we still don't really fully know yet.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think that I'm kind of tied between Lucia and Lilith.
Really?
Yeah, although I is a good contender, I also was from a really short game.
Yeah.
But Lucia seemed very relatable for the side of me that's not annoying. And Lilith was very relatable for the side of me that should be more annoying.
Personally, I don't like just breaking it down and being like, which waifu is better than all the others.
Yeah, it's a kind of a hollow gimmick we're doing.
It is. I really don't think that I could really break it down and make decisions like that, to be totally honest. If I had to go with one above all of the others, or like you did, like two where it's tied or whatever, I would have to say it's probably between like... I'd say Athena and Lilith, I guess.
You into older women with Athena there?
No. No, I think I'm older than the character, though not technically.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The retro style is a huge point in her favor.
Yeah,
but
it is.
Not always depicted in that style, so it's no weird criterion.
I'm probably biased because, again, we were playing my copy of Athena for the NES, and I've had it since I was like 4 years old. Yeah.
So
I've played the crap out of that game growing up.
How far have you gotten?
It's the farthest I've ever gotten was on video.
Well, you were 4. I understand. I'm worse at those games. So the thing is that there is no real criterion for what a waifu is.
No, not really.
Even if you ask people about how they interact with their waifus, for some people, there's this weird, like, almost lifestyle manifesto about what you do to keep your waifu pure. Other people, they don't care.
Yeah.
Other people say it ironically. Ironic waifus are an absolutely valid type of waifu.
Yeah.
And you may have noticed, folks, that when I'm picking out which characters I like or dislike, even the dislikes, they're all based on whether or not I relate to them.
Yeah.
So as a girl who...
You can't pick a waifu.
Yeah, I mean, some girls can. I kind of can. I kind of, like, if I had to marry an anime girl, I'd ask if I could marry an anime boy instead. But also, like... I look at them thinking, like, which one would be my friend? Which one would I hang out with? Which one would I project my personality onto as a self-insert if I were doing that kind of thing? Like as the player character.
Yeah.
So, like, that still might be someone else's criterion for waifu, is that they find a character that they relate to.
I would go so far as to say that,
cat form.
like, to be honest, I think that if we're talking true waifuism, like the thing where people go, well, I have one waifu above all others, and, you know, too many waifu ruin your life.
And you gotta feed her spaghetti through the computer
screen?
Yeah,
if we're talking about, like, the truest levels of waifuism, I think most people choose those based not on aesthetics, but whether or not they click with the character, whether or not they feel like the character truly is someone that they could not only get along with, but share their entire lives with. And on a personality basis, they feel like this character, if they were real, would literally be a soulmate, in which case it's like, yeah, I guess some people are like that.
Sometimes the choices people pick seem like characters from media that don't really have a lot of personality. A lot of moe blob stuff feels like, oh, they're just archetypes.
Well, it's the way that fandoms do.
You project new
traits on characters who don't have traits. Yeah,
and also sometimes a tomboy with blue hair and a tomboy with green hair are completely different characters, even if they're the same archetype, written by the same people off of the same script. Or maybe it could be like, oh, the voice actor has a nicer voice. Yeah. Or whatever. There could be so many different things. It's so subjective.
There's a lot. I agree.
So I'm going to make a proposal.
Okay.
Should we just marry them all?
Just have a waifu harem? Yeah, I feel like arguing that one waifu above all others in this particular situation where we are looking at so many games with so many different characters whose personalities are completely different, whose archetypes are completely different. Some of them we don't know at all. I feel like actually choosing one above all others is maybe not the best way to do this, because
it's not what we're doing, though.
Some of them are awful and we still like them, and some of them are great. And maybe we are holding them below the awful ones in some cases. Like, for instance, just going back to Neptunia, I still like... So here's the thing, right? Out of all of the characters, I have not clicked with any of them, really. I just like them as general characters in a video game. I would not argue that any of them are really waifus to me. And that's why I say Neptune, is because Neptune's the main character, and her personality isn't completely insufferable. But then again, none of them really are.
Not completely insufferable, a little insufferable.
Yeah, and I generally speaking liked her personality, but that doesn't mean that, like, you know, when I say something like Athena and Lilith, that doesn't mean that Neptune is below those. No, they're all equal, and I have no fucking idea. I'm just picking randomly off the top of my goddamn head. Like,
so we're marrying our waifus and becoming king of Dryfu.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good place to end it. Okay. Do you have anything left to say? Final thoughts on Waifu Month specifically.
It was fun, but I think that we got a little too into the idea of a themed month and burnt ourselves out a little on editing and art and killed our voices with goofy voice acting.
The editing for this one was, it was about as intense as a normal month is, but the problem was that we had so many different games that we were doing.
Yes.
So it wasn't a situation where we could sit down and do like fucking 4 hours of like one game and then have that be 2 weeks worth of videos. It's, we sit down, we happen to do 3 hours, and then I just grumble to myself and I'm like, well, I guess each video is an hour long then, because they can't go more than like a week.
Yeah, we had to fit it in a month. We had to plan it out. This video was just me just thinking, you know what, we should actually pick a waifu of the month. And then I thought, oh, well, then we got to have some video. I'm going to draw them all. I'm going to murder my wrist again. And I did.
Yeah, the art was really intense because there was so much going on.
I hope people like it. I mean,
hope people do too.
They're not shaded and they're kind of roughly done, but like I think I did good.
I really hope that people like this month in general. I mean, this month, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I feel like Waifu Month was a great success for as difficult as it was. Yeah. And I'm almost kind of sad that we're going back to normal rotation after this.
Not completely. We're going to stick with Neptune.
We're keeping Neptune. We are keeping... Neptune's going to continue. So for those of you who don't know, just because Waifu Month is over does not mean Neptune is over. That one's going to keep going.
We'll probably never touch Ame no Marginal again.
Yeah.
Not that anyone really wants us to.
Generally speaking, I think we got enough comments on that we're like, yeah, don't play this. And we're like, okay.
Yeah. And it's a downer.
It was a little bit of a downer, but some people did kind of like that it was a downer, I guess.
Yeah, like the Steam reviews for it were like, oh, I was depressed when I watched this, and it clicked with me, and it was heart-wrenching, and it made me feel better at the end. It's like, okay, I mean, we haven't finished it, so I don't know what happens, but it's like, man, I can't do funny voices over it. Sorry, guys, I can't do that.
We can't continue to do the silly voices because we did those thinking that was just going to be schlock. Yeah. And then it turned out to be like really emotional, and we were like, oh no.
Yeah, honestly,
oh, God.
I thought it was just going to be more cat girls.
I did too. Everything that I had seen was just pictures. I didn't bother like reading anything about it almost at all.
Which is true of all of it. Like my reactions to Nekopara. Nekopara was the first Waifu Month thing we recorded. We aired it out of order.
Yeah,
but we did. Me asking when does the game start was legitimately me being upset and confused that the game was just text boxes. Like we didn't plan this out quite so well as we could have, but now we know. It still turned out to be good.
Yeah, I think it still turned out pretty okay.
We learned the phrase of the devil, kinetic novel.
You mean the genre of the devil. There you go.
Yeah.
Apparently, kinetic novels, as far as I understand, are something that visual novel players kind of don't want to touch with a long pointy stick.
It's a controversial subject.
Yeah, apparently, it's one of those weird things. I
understand why.
Yeah, I do too. God, outside of that, just like I said, Neptune's going back. It's gonna continue.
Our fighting games will continue, but
those are every
be,
Sunday.
They'll be kind of mixed in with the other ones we've already got.
Yeah,
which
we're
right now is
probably gonna
Blue.
do Blaze. I don't want to like put anything in stone, but Blaze Blue will eventually continue. Yes, that is a big thing.
Blaze Blue's hard though, is the thing. So
we'll
be needing to get back into practice.
Yeah. We'll have to go back to practicing and make sure that we're not like garbage.
We might intersperse with more One Piece and stuff.
We've got a lot of things on our proverbial plate for that, as well as the Waifu Month games. So it's all sitting there.
And Battle Fantasia and Vanguard Princess both look like I'm excited to find out more of their stories. I do genuinely want context for some of the things we've seen.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm interested in like getting better at them as games, because they both have different systems to them than the ones we've played, and they're like, okay, I could probably learn this.
Assuming this is coming out on the right day, by the way, the rest of the week will be, I believe, Neptune and Karakara, if I'm not mistaken. Like, we're just finishing up what recording, or what raw video we had for it.
Yeah, so if it bleeds into to March, it's like, hey, you get...
Sorry.
February's a short month. You get some bonuses. Yeah,
it's in there. God, outside of that, I guess I got nothing.
Yeah, these waifus have enriched our laifus.
Yeah, you keep making jokes, but it's not funny.
It's easy, though.
All right, good night, everybody.
Have a good night. I hope you liked Waifu Month.
Have a good month this month. Look forward to March, which is St. Patrick's. We're not doing anything.
We're doing a bunch of games that are based around beer.
No,
we're not. I don't even know what that...
Megan doesn't drink.
What would that even be?
All right, good night, everybody.
Good night.